function and arguments. But before I do that, I want to overview the for loop. So this is how you declare the for loop, and this is from the previous video. So for, and then you start a variable, so let I equals to 20, so it will start from 20 this time. So you see I have a comment here, it says start, so it's going to start from this number, and this is the condition, so it's going to say this I, or variable name, is greater than or equals to 10. It's going to be greater than 10, and this one, you see it says I minus minus, so this is not like a dash, but you cannot see it on VS Code for some reason. So there is a space between them. So it's I minus minus. All right. So I minus minus, and right here you see we have 20 all the way down to 10. So this was the review for the for loop. I'm going to comment this one out, and we are going to line 2. So on line 2, let's say that we want to calculate the area of a square in JavaScript, and to do that we can say, for example, width times height. All right, so it's width times height, just like that. So this is how you calculate the area of a square. So you just multiply one side by one side. So let's say this is side 1. All right, side 1, I can say side 1, this is side 2. All right, so times side 2. And to put this in JavaScript, you can say let side 1 equals to, and then you add the first number of the first side, so let's say 5, and let side 2 equals to 7. So you see we have two sides, and now all we have to do is to multiply these. So I can say let area equals to side 1 times side 2, and I'm going to get rid of these ones, so we'll have these only. Okay, so we have side 1, we have a number, we have side 2, we have another number, and this is the total area. So we multiply side 1 by side 2, and let's print this out to the user. So I'm going to say my age 1. I have already selected that element. This is from the previous videos. So I'm going to say my age 1, the inner HTML equals to area. So you see, area is 35. So 7 times 5 is 35. So let's say that we have another square. So we can do the same thing. We can, let's say that we have another one. So I can copy this whole thing again and move it down here. So you make a copy of it, except you'll have to, use different variable names. So I'm going to say side 2, this will be side 3, so this will 1, 2, this will be 3 and 4 actually, so 3 and 4. So you see it's it takes time, so 3 and 4, and it will say different numbers. So we'll list area 2 equals to this, and I'm going to plus equals it, so you see this will be the area 2 here. So it's kind of confusing like this. So you see, if we reuse this code, this is going to get redundant. All right, so this is going to get redundant because for each shape you're writing some code, and this is not a good practice. So I'm going to get rid of this, and let's keep these ones here. So we can make a function. So function, so what will this function do? It will calculate area. So calculate area square, right? So it's going to calculate the area of square, and right here inside of the parentheses, you see in the previous videos we have used this function. It should look familiar, but inside of the parentheses we are going to say side 1 comma side 2. All right, and inside of this function we can simply print something. So we are going to say my age 1 inner HTML equals to, I can say side 1 times side 2. So I can basically type this in. So right here, I have used the argument. So let's say that we want to say side 1 times side 2 and add a semicolon here. And let's store this in a variable called area. So let area equals to side 1 times side 2. What we can do is that we can recall this function and we can use these same numbers. So I'm going to get rid of these now. And I'm going to just copy these numbers. And to call a function, you basically add the name of the function. So calculate area square, and then you open two parentheses. So the first one for side 1, you see we are using the argument. So we can use the same numbers. So 5, comma, 5, comma, 7. So you see now we are calculating the area using a function. So we don't need to rewrite this over and over again. We are just calling the function with some numbers. And you see right here, these are the arguments. So this 5 right here is side 1, and this 7 is side 2. All right, always. I mean, in this function, it doesn't matter because, it doesn't matter if you multiply side 2 by side 1, it's the same thing. But you see this, so the order matters right here for this function. So we have calculated the area of one thing. Let's say that we want to recall this function, and I can copy it and change the numbers. So I can say 20 times 7. So you see 20 times 7 is 140. And we are just calculating. So let's use our trick. So let's say plus equals area and plus an empty string that goes to the next one. So you'll see that now we have different calculations. So you see this is calculate area square. So this is the first one. You see the total is 35. And this is the second time we are recalling the function, but we are simply adding numbers this way. So you see, this time I don't have to write the whole thing again. So right here, for example, let side 1 equals to 5, let side 2 equals to 7, etc. So it's going to take a lot of time if you were to, calculate this using JavaScript step by step. So this is a better practice, right? Now, let me get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. We just need this function, and we can calculate the area square and as many times as we want. So let's say that we want to recall it again. So right here, let me change this to 2 times 5. All right, so this should be 10. So the third one is 10. As you see, we are printing them on the page, and this is basically it. So you just make a function that calculates the area square, or you can name it whatever you want, and it can do whatever it does. So this is basically how you do it. So you make a function, you give it a name. You see it says side 1 for the first argument, and this is side 2 for the second argument. You can have as many arguments as you want. For example, side 1, this is side 2. I can have maybe something like names. I don't know, maybe name or something. So you see we have a name argument, and let's say that we want to use that name, so I can say comma John. So student John, for example. So basically I can say area here plus this break. Let's say that we want to plus the name. All right, so you see we have added the name John there because we have added it here inside of the third argument, and we can say comma again. So this is Lisa, and So let's say that these are the students who found or calculated the square areas. So you can say comma. So you see we have different types. So we have numbers. We have two numbers that are multiplying, and we are adding a name to it. And we can go to the next line after it. So I can say plus and add two single quotes again, and I can use a break tag just to go to the next line after each name. So you see, the first calculation is 5 times 7 is 35, and we are adding the name John there. So this is now basically we add breaks here. So you see, first it adds the total area here, and then it's add a break there, so it moves it down. Then we are adding the name, so plus name. So you see it adds the name John because I'm adding John here. So this is the argument. If let's say that we change the name to, I don't know, Mo Salah. So you see Mo Salah is here. And if you don't add an argument here, it's going to tell you undefined, all right? Because it cannot find an argument here. So you have to have an argument corresponding to your argument here. For example, side 1, side 2, and we have name, and we have added the name of the person here. I hope that this video was not too complicated, but it's really easy. You add the names of the arguments inside of the parentheses. It's like I did side 1, side 2, it could be a name, could be anything. And inside of the function, you do something. So for example, I have declared this area, so I said let area equals to side 1 times side 2. And this will calculate the area of square. And right here underneath it, I'm using my age 1, because you see up here, I'm using my age 1 variable to select or to store an HTML element called print here. So I have given it the ID of print here. You can see it's up here. So we are setting the inner HTML of that specific element into this. So area plus break plus name plus this break again. And if you see, this is our trick, the plus equal sign. If I don't add it, it's basically going to print the last one only. So you see, it's only going to calculate this one. So it's going to show you this one. But if you want to show all of them, you add a plus here. So in the next video, we're going to have more practice with this. All right, everyone. So I hope that this makes sense now. If it doesn't, it's okay, because in the next video, we are going to make more functions and we are going to have more practice. So see you in the next video.